Ciao from NXPadel. Today we have a question to reply. What are the costs after the installation and the purchase of your paddle courts? The answer is it depends. It depends on the maintenance, it depends on the quality of the court, it depends on the design of the court, it depends on many things. Today we're seeing in details the maintenance that you have with our fiberglass, comfort and Zero S paddle court. So, first thing first we're going to analyze is the structure, the fiberglass structure. As we said many times in all our contents, fiberglass is 100% chemically rust-proof. You don't need to apply any kind of chemical solution, chemical treatment, nothing. The material itself is 100% rust-proof. Being 100% rust-proof for the maintenance means reducing to zero, because you don't have to repaint, you don't have structural damages, there are no risky area that get rusty for the players. So once you install the fiberglass structure, the rust-proof, let it just like the way you install it. Nothing changed. Aesthetic, safety, structural resistance, nothing. Then, specifically on the fiberglass meshes, we have the elasticity that characterize fiberglass. In fact, when I impact, the mesh goes straight back to the flat shape. The resilience is the key factor for this advantage, and once again reduce maintenance to zero, because being always a flat surface, the aesthetic, the playability and the IPF parameters are always respected. So you don't need to switch, you don't need to replace, you don't need to do anything. Last but not the least, for the fiberglass structure is the color resistance. So this is a true aesthetic point to analyze. In fact, the material of the fiberglass, both for the structure, for the pillars, for the posts, for the meshes, is not painted on the outside. The color of the material itself is black in this case, or sunset in the orange case. What does it mean? It means that even with scratches, with impact, with UV, the color will be just like this, just like a brand new court. So from an aesthetic point of view, your club will be always perfect. Now we speak about the comfort glass. There are not so many points to analyze, but two are crucial. First thing first, it's unbreakable. If it's unbreakable, due to the impact with the body, with the racket, with stones, with vandalism, with everything, it means you won't have to replace the comfort glass, which is a great saving for expenses, especially compared to tempered glass or anyway to classic glass. This is unbreakable, you can leave it like this and nothing happens. Second thing is about the scratch. In case of scratching, like with the ring while you're playing, with the rackets, with the bracelet, playing scratch, let's say, the only maintenance you have to do is from an aesthetic point of view. In that case, you just take a towel and you clean it away, and that's all. Last but not the least, also in this case, the color, in this case it won't lose color, because it's UV treated and guaranteed for 10 years. 10 years, so without getting yellow or without losing the aesthetic. Finally, the third component, the Zero S, which, just like its name, zero sand, describes perfectly that the maintenance is also in this case zeros. Because without sand, with 0 kilos, exactly 0 kilos, so neither one grain, you don't have to brush, you don't have to refill once per year, you don't have to clean it, you don't have to do anything. So also in this case, maintenance zero. Another very cool and unique advantage is that being glued to the ground, Zero S during time, during different weather condition, during different flotation of temperature, etc., it doesn't move. Without moving, it doesn't create bubbles, wrinkles. Basically, you install it, you glue it, you leave it there, and the lifetime also is even longer compared to the synthetic turf because it's extremely dense, it's extremely full of yarn and very resistant. Another very cool feature about the Zero S is that being 100% permeable and letting the water pass through immediately when it's raining, water basically doesn't stay on the surface or inside of the turf, and the mixture between water and sand in classic synthetic turf in some cases can bring the court to have mold and musk on the corners and on the side of the structure. Of course, this is pretty terrible, both from an aesthetic and a safety point of view. With Zero S, you let the water pass through immediately on the 100% of the surface. For sure, you won't have this kind of issue. So today you were able to see that with our technology, the maintenance and also the cost of maintenance of a paddle court are reduced to zero. You have to do nothing. You have to spend nothing. With our technology, this is something that distinguishes us from all the other technologies and products in the market. If you have any specific question about the maintenance or about the cost of maintenance, etc., feel free to send us an email or leave us a comment or whatever. Don't forget to subscribe, stay tuned, and share this video to the owner of the paddle club where you're playing right now. And as always, experience paddle to the fullest.